So we're recording, yeah. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Mumbles Community Council special meeting, 23rd of March. Before I start the meeting, I'd just like to start off with some sad news that the councillor for Fairwood, Councillor Paxton Hood-Williams, sadly passed away last week. Paxton served in local government for a long time. He's Lord Mayor. A lot of you might have met him last year. Friend of ours, and I'd just like to pass on our best to his family, really. So very sad news, obviously, and he'll be sorely missed. We move on to apologies for absence.
Yes, Chair, apologies from the following councillors: Rebecca Fogarty, Dave Lewis, Trevor Carr, Tim Zhu, and Xanthi Keaton. Sorry.
Sarah pass it on her apologies as well as the government's meeting this evening.
Okay.
And Martin texted me earlier with his apologies for this evening as well.
Okay, thank you.
Next on the agenda is declarations of interest. Is there any declarations of interest on anything on the agenda?
Yeah, question. Because we obviously voted on something before and we've made that vote, that's not predetermined, is it though?
That's a good point. Message for Kerry, I guess. I think Francesca's talking about the grant application for the BCYC and the cemetery steps, which were on the agenda at the last council, but they weren't advertised on the agenda. So we've put them back on this agenda to discuss again. So what's your thoughts on that, Kerry?
Yeah. So on this agenda to discuss again, you're going to be ratifying the decision, and that'll be minuted in the correct manner.
Okay. What about the fact of the interest, because it's been discussed and okayed already? You don't think that's an interest based on that at all?
I don't think it's predetermined, because obviously it should have been on the agenda and it was a mistake that it wasn't on the agenda. So what you're doing now is following the correct process to have a formal resolution for making the decision.
Can we just have it minuted just so that, you know, I don't want any comebacks on that?
Yeah, certainly. I think Ian could do that. That'd be great. Thank you. I've got a personal interest in item 17, which is the Mumbles Rangers thing. I'm a coach of the under-9 girls, which obviously has nothing to do with the first team. So it's just and we train as a good, so it's just a personal interest on that one. Angela?
I'd say probably a personal interest myself for item 7.
Item 7. Okay, and that's because you're one of your kids.
Family member in the rugby club, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, moving on to public participation. I don't see any members of the public here. Just to remind anyone watching that if you do want to speak at anything on our meetings, you have to notify the chief officer at least 48 hours, is it? Or 4 working days? 3 working days, sorry, before each meeting. Okay.
Chair, I did receive a request for the link to be sent to some members of the public. Can I just check that did happen?
Yeah, it's sent that, Kerry, but
Okay.
15 minutes ago.
Thank you.
Caroline. Yes.
Okay, thanks. Moving on to item number 4, to approve the minutes of full council held on 10th of March, which is in your packs. So give you all a second just to look over them. But if there's nothing, I don't see any hands up anywhere. So I'll just move those. All those in favour? Thank you. That is passed, yeah? Okay. All right, thanks. To receive the correspondence of Males, Friends and Residents Group. So we've got a very lengthy technical document inside your agenda, which you'll see regarding the telecommunications mast in sort of West Cross, Mumbles area. So firstly, does anyone have any comments on it, or Kerry, do you have any advice on what and how they want us to take this forward?
I'm not really sure what they, I think they want the support as councillors, so it's for you to discuss.
Okay, so I think we'll open it up to discussion. Helen, do you want to come in?
I think it relates to the males mast, the 5G males mast. And obviously Phil and Caroline are very active members of the community. And I think what they're looking for really is for Mumbles Community Council to write to Swansea County Council, really asking them to adopt a more precautionary and preventative approach. And I think that's a very sensible idea, because when it comes to public health, we should always be pressurising our county councillors and our county council to do as much as possible to protect public health. I'm a bit out of breath, sorry, I've literally sprinted from the car. So there's lots there. I think whilst this letter is technical, I think it's a bit of an issue, like, you know, ultra-processed food or cigarettes or stuff like that. It's really complex. It's a growing problem. We do need to keep an eye on it. We're only a little community council. I think we can keep an eye on it, and we can ask our county council to make sure that in this LVP, taking a precautionary approach like other councils are doing, like Castle Point.
Okay, so we're obviously a statutory consultee in the planning application, so obviously they want us to represent them in the terms from the letter. Does anyone else have any comments or suggest a way forward, Francesca?
I mean, obviously, planning is a devolved issue, and I know they have, with a previous hat on, come to us previously, and they haven't been happy with the response from the Welsh Government, because obviously they set out the framework and the guidelines. So I know what Swansea Council's response is. They're going to bounce back. That's Welsh Government policy. So I think it's better going to the root cause of the issue is the framework in Welsh Gov. I don't have any objections to it. If they've done the research and they feel strongly about it, to carry on, but it is very much down into the Welsh Government's remit.
Yeah, and it's the UK government, it's not even Welsh Government, because it's health and safety. So it's the UK government, it's not even devolved to Welsh Government.
It comes under plan, but it does come under planning.
The LDP does.
Yes.
No, that's right, the LDP
That's
does.
where that's the crux of it, really.
From my understanding, it's protected by one of the digital infrastructure bill or something that passed about 5-6 years ago. So you're right, it's a Westminster issue. If people haven't, people have hopefully read through the letter. I guess what they're suggesting is that we write to Swansea Council as a statutory consultee, but maybe we could also think about forwarding this our notes on to Welsh Government as well, maybe, and just saying, are they? I'm sure they're aware of these things. Okay, so if we agree a letter that's circulated, Kerry, I'm just going to look to you in a minute just to see if this is a way forward. But if Helen is happy to write a letter and circulate it to all councillors, and if there's no comments within, say, 24 hours that that letter's agreed and sent off, is that something that we can do? I can support that. Okay, great. So do we need a vote on that? Yeah, okay, so all those in favour of that approach?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, that's carried. Thanks for that, Helen, that's...
Struggle to finish working.
I think it's sensible to,
Right, number 6 is to consider the grant application from the Bristol Channel Yacht Club for the Lord Mayor's Regatta. If people remember, this was discussed and we had a present, well, I wouldn't call it a presentation, but one of the members of the club came in to talk about it at the last meeting. So we obviously discussed it in length then, but it was not officially on the agenda. So we had to put it back on this one to be theoretically ratified. So obviously we've discussed this in length before, but if anyone has any different opinion or questions on that, do they want to bring them up? Carrie, do you want to come in?
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't here last month, so I haven't been involved in any conversations. The two things I can't quite work out is they are asking for £10,000, or saying that they're asking us for £5,000, saying that the event will cost 10,000, but in the draft costings that they've sent, the total event costs £3,900. So why are they saying in the application it's 10,000 when their costings show 3,900?
Okay, I think that's a specific part of the event rather than the whole event.
Well, it says, I can't see what else would be needed apart from obviously what's covered here.
What number on the application are you in?
What, for the cost, it's on question 15. Total 14 is what is the total cost of the project? 10,000. Question 15, what amount of funding are you requesting? 5,000. But in the adjoining supporting documents that they sent a breakdown of all the costs, and the total is £3,900. It's the document called Lord Mayor's Regatta 2026 draft 170226.
That's for the fee to have somebody brought in to organise the onshore stuff. So that's including like the licensing, parks fees.
It looks like they're only asking for 5.
But what Carrie's question is, sorry, Carrie, we're just trying to discuss what.
That's just for the onshore. Obviously, they've got their own cost because they're doing it over the whole weekend, aren't they? From the Friday to the Sunday.
Yeah.
It's all the catering, all that's external to that.
I think what Carrie's question is they haven't noted those costs. I appreciate they are costs, but they're not on the list.
Yeah. So I don't see how we can approve something when we don't know how much, how much it's actually going to cost, because as they say, looking at the costings here, which it says total event spend is 5,700, then you take off the income and it comes down to 3,900. So what else is there apart from the total event spend?
Yeah, I think as Francesca just reminded me, these costs are just for the onshore activities over the weekend, and there's obviously other costs which, they haven't put them down, but what are moving into the racing. So maybe as long as they can identify the other costs to the chief officer, maybe we could ratify this and agree this as long as they come back with a list of costs that Kerry's happy adds up to the 10,000. Does that sound like a way forward, everyone? I think, Kerry, would you be happy with that? Oh, Phil.
Whatever. Yeah. I think I'll just abstain because I don't feel I've had an opportunity. I mean, you've all discussed it previously, so it makes sense for me to just step back and not get involved.
Okay, Phil.
If we don't have that information, which we don't, then I'll just abstain on it.
Carrie, what I would say is that last, at that meeting, I was in attendance, and it was very clear that there are additional costs, which is why the £10,000 figure was mooted. Okay. And the additional funding is coming from a very generous private donor, from what I understand. However, obviously there was some leeway then regarding the fact it is over the entire weekend, that there were going to be costs involved with setting that all up, and then obviously they were outsourcing this to somebody to actually
events company. Yeah,
that's right, the events company. So I wonder whether this is just what they know their expenditure is going to be, and that difference was actually for the events company.
That 3,000 figure is just for the subcontractor to facilitate,
so it's
linking in with all the businesses. And just to note that I've had meetings last week to make sure that there's 3 spots for the businesses, so they're not paying. So they're, the top shops up there, they can get involved, charities, the castle, and then you've got the costings of the berthing, the car park, the council fees. So it's going to far exceed the 3,000.
Yeah. Okay. So rather than discussing this in any more detail, I think we've got a way forward as long as we can identify those costs. Kerry, if you could, if we it seems like the feeling in the room is that we want to be supportive of this again, like we were in the last meeting. However, if they could send the other costs, and if you could just confirm they add up to that figure that they sent over, is that a way forward? Sorry, Ange.
No, all we can see here is 3,900 per total event cost. Yeah.
Kerry, is that a way forward?
Yeah, so if you want to approve the application for the 5,000 on the basis that they give me the rest of the cost, then yeah, that's fine. And as long as I'm happy, then obviously we'll pay out the grant to them then.
There we are. That's great. So on that basis, all those in favour of approving that? Okay, and any abstentions? And any against? Okay, thanks. That's carried.
Chair, if I can just draw your attention, Mr. Slater's joined us. You're aware of that?
Yeah, I was just going to mention to him. Mr. Slater, just so you know, we discussed the item on the agenda which you had an interest in just previously. The council was largely supportive of your letter, and thank you for it. It was very detailed. We've agreed that Helen will draft a letter on the council's behalf, because we can't obviously go into the detail of writing a letter in a meeting. So Helen will draft that with the chief officer, circulate it to the councillors for input, and we'll send that out. Okay.
Great. Thank you very, very much for taking the time to read the letter, and I take it the agreed action is to write to Swansea Council and ask that the local plan be updated to follow what Castle Point Borough Council have done.
Yes, that's exactly what Helen was saying actually, and also we were going to think about writing to Welsh Government as well. So yes.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thanks. Evening. Right, moving on to item number 7, which is to consider the grant application from Mumbles Rugby Club for their junior festival. So I understand this came in a little bit late, as it's a bit of an urgent one in their opinion. So you've all think you've all received it. Is that right, Ian? Everyone received that now?
It was put on Teams this afternoon.
Okay, great. So you've all got that on Teams. So what the request is, total cost of the project's 1,000. They're asking for 1,000, and that's towards the junior festival to add some extra parts to make that bigger and better, really. I think am I correct in saying, Kerry, we've also agreed to give them 3G pitch the day for that?
Yeah, so it's the first time they've done a junior festival. So the 3G pitch has been agreed, and obviously then they're asking for £1,000 towards the cost of PA equipment, inflatables, and all the rest of the infrastructure they need to put the event on.
Yeah. Okay. So does anyone have any questions on that? I know Newton Athletic run a fantastic festival. Mumbles also run a really good festival as well. It'd be great for the rugby club one to step up a gear, and it's obviously good for getting young players involved as well. So does anyone have any questions? No.
Just think it's a brilliant way to show that rugby starts at grassroots, along with the WRU. Anybody who's read Andy Moore's comments online, apart from them being making total sense, they're incredibly eloquently written as well. And congratulations to him for becoming director of rugby for Southgower. It's a grassroots sport. More needs to be supported at grassroots level, so absolutely 100% support it.
Thanks, Rob. Okay, don't see any more hands, so just move to a vote for all those in favour of support application. Okay, that's carried. Thank you very much. On to item number 8, which is the Oystermouth Cemetery steps. Now, this was also one we discussed at the last meeting, which wasn't on the official agenda, which was advertised. So it's back on here. We have discussed it in depth before, but if there are any other questions, so basically we have in our budget 10,000 for the Oystermouth Cemetery steps. Pardon? Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah, 12. There is 12,000 in the budget for Oystermouth Cemetery. Say steps. It's more of a ramp that's proposed. So I don't know why. That's my fault there. So apologies for that. And local councillors, county councillors have agreed to pick up the further £3,000, which would bring it to the 15,000, which is what Swansea Council have quoted for that. It's a very steep, sort of 2 or 3 metres, a bit steep for a pram and definitely for a wheelchair or a mobility scooter. So it's something that'd be a big benefit to the area. I know Councillor Ian Scott's been, this one's been at one of his projects for a while, isn't it? And so it'd be something you'd very much like to get ticked off the list.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if there's no further questions,
No, just absolutely again, you know, it's a shortcut from Newton to Mumbles and Mumbles back up to Newton. It's used by walkers, pram pushers. It can't be used by people in wheelchairs with mobility issues or on crutches because of the steep incline and even that's of it as well. I mean, bikers use it as well. It's on my home patch. Happily, 100% support again.
Thanks, Robbie. Okay, so just, it doesn't seem there's any hands, so I'll move to a vote on that. So all those in favour of what I've mentioned, thanks very much. Okay, item number 9, to consider recommendations to the Finance and Governance Committee. So if you have those in front of you, Rob, I'll hand over to you. That's right.
Okay, so the first one is £6,000 for the Linden Church for their youth club, West Cross Youth Club. And we decided we'd like to award this event. £1,000 more last year, but I mean, with inflation, the cost of living and everything going up, it's understandable that it's gone up. So yeah, we were happy to support this.
Okay, that's great. Carrie, if you see your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to suggest that previously what we did, we actually approved it for the 3 years. So they don't have to keep coming back each year. Can we recommend that this is the same and that they don't have to come back and ask again next year and the year after, but that we agree that 6,000 to go forward for the next 3 years?
What I'd suggest is obviously that's not what they've asked for. I mean, I think most of the council would be in support of that, but I think maybe if when we write to them to tell them, well, I'm not presuming if they are successful in the vote that's about to come, then if when Ian writes to them, maybe you could encourage them to maybe do that and we could bring it back. Look at that then, I think. But I think people are largely in support of that and keeping this project going, but it's obviously not what they've asked for here. So I think if Ian writes to them and says that, we can look at it again.
It's not for the want of contacting them. You know, they've been contacted for over a number of months now about their expiry of their previous grant, which quite correctly is for the 3 years, but the application is for 1 year, and that's what we have to decide on.
Yeah. So, well, we'll take a vote on it. Just to note, Ian, that Councillor O'Brien's just stepped out of the room, so she's, I think she's just taken a call or something, so she's not on this vote. But okay, so if there's no further questions on that, so all those in favour of the Linden Church grant application for the youth club, it's unanimous and carried. So Ian, if you when you write to them, if you could just let them know that we consider 3 years. Consider 3 years if they want to come back to us on that. That'd be great. Thanks. Over to you again, Rob.
Okay, second one was for the HWV Collective CIC grant application for £2,000 to practice STEM learning for young people in Mumbles stroke Swansea through small scale prototype program. So although we sort of thought that, yeah, there is value in this, they need to demonstrate that they've actually gone out and done this before and that there is a need for it. Also, we said, like, we're not allowed to award grants to schools, and there are other subjects as well in schools, core subjects and neglected subjects. that, so we can't just fund everything. So that we decided that it was probably better not to award this at the moment until they proved that they've been up and running and done something, and that there is a need for this to go. It was also a little bit ambiguous because it said Mumbles and Swansea.
Okay. So, so have you got a recommended response from the committee
to not award the grant?
Yeah. So in the communication, if for example the committee vote to not support that tonight, you've got the reasons for.
Yeah. I mean, they're all minuted in the meeting from last week.
Right. Okay. Okay. Is there any questions to Rob on the that? If not, we'll vote on the recommendation, which is to not award the grant to the HWV Collective. So all those in favour of not awarding the grant? Yeah. Any abstentions?
Sorry, I was not that round.
Okay. All right. So Ian, I suppose when we write to them, if we could just explain the reasons from the committee for the recommendation, and I guess if they want to apply again based on those, then we'll take it from there.
The third one.
Sorry, Rob.
Was sorry.
You know, sorry. Just to also mention to them that MCC's funding comes from the Males, Oystermouth, West Cross, Newton areas, not Swansea. So we obviously mainly focused, or if not solely focused on that. Rob, sorry.
Yeah, the third one was Bantani Cymru CIC grant application for £2,200. And this was about cultural awareness for children of our local culture and heritage. So the castle, All Saints Church, and other sort of things to do with Mumbles heritage and culture. And because this was an outside the schools, what the schools normally do, we decided that we'd like to support this one.
Okay. And what was the percentage of the grant that they were asking for?
2.2 they asked for, wasn't it?
Cost was 6.
The cost was 6.
Okay.
5.
Okay.
Sorry, could I just, I should have declared a personal interest in this as I know the applicant.
Okay, thanks, Gary. We'll note that down.
Thanks.
Okay.
So the recommendation is to award the grant of 2,200.
Okay.
Yes.
So if there's any questions on this application at all from anyone? Okay, great. If not, we'll move to a vote. So the recommendation is to approve the grant. So all those in favour? Thank you very much. Okay, I think
there's one more.
There is one more on the back, yeah.
Which is Bowls Club, who asked for £800 to contribute towards the maintenance costs of Bowling Green. So what we weren't sure of, a couple of things, is their account said they have £10,000 in the bank, so we wanted clarification on the money that they have in the bank and whether it's for earmarked already. And also because there's 3 clubs down there. There's Mumbles Bowls, there's the Croquet Club, and there's another Oystermouth Bowls Club as well. So we just wanted clarification on that before we award it.
Okay.
So that one was going to be bounced back to the next meeting of the Finance Committee anyway, I think.
Okay. All right. So that one's just to note. There's one thing, just while we're on the subject of the Bowls Green. Kerry, rather, I don't know if we could have a think about how best to fund the Bowls Green long term. I know obviously we've got ambitions to in the future put in a asset transfer for the Bowls Green. And at the moment we're sort of operating on a 50% funding basis with the clubs, but maybe rather than these 3 applications coming forward all the time, maybe there's a better mechanism to do that. But I'll leave that to you to have a think about. But I think there just might be a cleaner, better way to manage that anyway. Okay, thanks, Rob. Great. So moving on to item number 10, which is to consider the report from Story Mumbles on the plinth, the Harry Libby plinth. So bit of background about this. Obviously, it used to be sited on the prom down by the pilot sort of area around about there. It's been in place for a long time. I don't think it's on this report, but I don't know how long it's been on site actually. And it used to have a sort of sundial thing on the top, and the sort of symbols on the metal disc at the top are different landmarks around Swansea that you can see in the distance. Harry Libby was the old councillor for Mumbles, very active councillor during the war, used to regularly write to the troops, which, you know, is part of the area's history. It's in the report, it seems to suggest that the bottom of the plinth came from a sort of, during the Blitz, obviously some of the old buildings were lost, and we think that, or they think rather, that part of this came from one of those buildings that was demolished following the Blitz. So that in itself has got some history as well. As with a county council hat on, when the prom was being redeveloped, the council weren't keen to put it back in its current state. So obviously a lot of local people felt very passionately about this. So we asked our history arm, I guess you'd call them, the Story of Mumbles group, to go away, do a bit of digging and see what they thought. The only thing I'm a little bit, I'm not confused at here, but in the report is that the sort of maintenance and cost to bring it back to life, if you were, tidy it up, only seems to be £80 to £100. And I think it might cost a lot more than that.
That's just for the metal arrow.
Yeah, there's no cost for anything else.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So we can't really.
Well, I think they're going to jet wash it, and then where there are some fissures or cracks in the plinth itself, they're going to fill it with an appropriate cement base. So I don't think it's not as if it's going out for procurement or anything.
No, but at the same time, who's going to do that? Are they going to do that? Volunteers?
Well, in the information that's been received, is they're going to be doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what it says. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah. True. Okay. Recommend. Yeah. So I'll read the recommendation just in case no one's had a chance to read it. The plinth would be.
Could I just?
Sorry, Cam.
Yeah. I mean that is a good. You know, I was basically asking what you've said. They do refer to other costs, but they don't actually tell us what they are. I mean, there's a cost of relocation for a start. You know, so I think we probably need to get a bit of a clearer idea of how much it's going to cost, and then identify where the money's going to come from. You know, because we don't want to kind of happily agree to it and then find we're suddenly faced with a bill for £2,000 because it's turned out to cost a lot more than we thought it would. So, you know, I just think, you know, we just need a little bit more detail about, you know, and also to confirm that Swansea Council have indeed agreed that it can be returned.
Right, yeah.
That's kind of important as well.
Yeah, exactly. That is out of our control, as you say. I'll read the recommendation and then I'll come up with what I was thinking as a way forward. The plinth would be cleaned by the Story of Mumbles team and sustainably restored, suitably restoration for the direction arrow to be found. That's the sort of bit on the top. In terms of siting the plinth, the Story of Mumbles team recommend choosing option 1. Which is basically near where it went before.
Yeah.
As the purpose of the plinth was originally to commemorate the opening of the slipway, in context can be fully appreciated. It is suitably nearby the original site, opposite the pilot inn, near the actual slipway. So, yeah. So I think what I was going to recommend is that obviously, regardless of where it goes, I think it would be nice to get it refurbed. So what I was going to recommend, I'll bring you in a second, Carrie. I'll just
That's okay.
Is that we put £250 from contingency towards the restoration of it. And hopefully they don't spend a whole 250, and because it just cites 80 and 100 here. But if we put 250 towards that, and then once it's repaired, we take photos of it, send it to Swansea Council, and ask for it to be put in that location. And at that point, it's their Swansea Council's decision where it would go. But we could obviously put a recommendation in. Carrie, do you want to come in?
Yeah, just obviously they're also talking about putting in an information board with a QR code. So again, it's probably not huge, but there will be costs. And I think we just need to be clear on what the cost is and where it's going to come from. That's all. I mean, I'm absolutely fine with it being done, but we do need to have a bit of a cost breakdown to know what it is we're committing to.
Yeah. So I'll move to a vote on the 250. But obviously we can't make a decision on the location of this, and I would suggest that we show the pictures of it being, after it's refurbed, so Swansea Council are then a bit more inclined to put it in a prominent location. Because at the moment, if we send them a picture of it, I know that they don't want to. So if we maybe get it refurbed, then we pick this up a bit further. But also if we ask for the group for a more detailed breakdown of the cost of the signage and other things. So all those in favour of £250 towards the restoration of the Harry Libby plinth coming from reserves. Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Just bear with me. Your papers, yeah. Right, number 12. Thank you, Phil. Yes, it is. Trying to throw me off there. I think they've got different together.
Don't. That happened last time, didn't it?
Oh, they're good.
It's 12. I'm 11 here.
I've got.
Didn't this happen?
So I'm going off the one I got in front of me, which is item 11, to receive and approve the council's financial risk register.
What's Phil looking online? Is it Phil? Is it different?
Let's just stick to what one I've got for now, and then we can pick up anything else later.
I think the one that appears on mine but hasn't appeared on yours is to appoint a councillor. So.
Number 5, to appoint a councillor of school governance.
Oh yeah.
Not on mine here.
It's online there. And that's item 5.
What?
Who's stepping down?
Let's not come into that yet. Let's just pick up the. Right. Yeah. Can you do me a favour? Can you double check online quickly? I'm just gonna pause the meeting a sec, guys. Just when we look into a technical issue.
Yes, we jumped over item 5, which was the school governor.
We've still got different number in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't got my agenda here.
Yes, I can confirm what has happened is the wrong one was uploaded online, so I had it amended. Ian was on annual leave, and obviously the right one's been uploaded into Teams. So they on the same day they were taken down and re-put back up. So the correct agenda was issued in time. It's just that Ian has obviously printed out from the one that I'd emailed him and asked him to put up online.
Okay. So with that in mind, do we go back to item 5 firstly about the school governance of Llynderw?
Yes, please.
Okay, now I haven't actually got that in front of me, but I can guess. I'll guess what it is. So okay, thanks. So to appoint a new governor for Llynderw, I guess is it Sarah is the representative there? She's stepping down.
I know Sarah stepped.
should more fulfil the
term.
the minimum expectation. In fact, I believe she stayed on for a period of time longer, but.
Okay. So I guess I'll open it up to anyone that wants to become a governor for Floynderry. Is anyone willing to add that to their list of responsibilities? It doesn't seem like there is, and I would not want to guilt anyone into, adding lots of meetings to their life. So if we maybe have can we circulate an email, Kerry, to all councillors, because there's quite a few of apologies, and can we add it to the next agenda, and we'll pick it up again then, please?
Yep, or you can just ask if somebody wants to confirm via when I circulate the email, if they're happy to pick it up that way. I can just take it back to Cloynderry then. They have emailed me to say there isn't a requirement to speak Welsh as well, because that was one of the questions that I went back and asked, just in case it was off-putting for anyone who doesn't speak Welsh.
Okay. I don't think they'd be allowed to do that, would they? I don't know if they've been allowed bilingual country. I'm not sure they. Anyway, okay. So with that in mind, then, so we make do we have to vote on that then, Kerry, to pass you the delegate powers for that? So just we're going to move to a vote. So passing the powers for the clerk to appoint a member of Floynderry following a circulating email. All those in favour? Much. Okay, I'm just going to pause a second while I get the agenda that I need. Just ahead of everything. I think for now, that's all I was trying to do is think about chess to his business. And this is the first page of the end.
Yeah, it's actually coming that next year, so. Done.
Yeah, it's all right. If you follow the notice, I'll just put some more. So we think that we just missed number 5, don't we? Which is appoint school governors. So I was on number 11, which was to receive the financial risk register, which is item 12 on here. Okay, so item number 12 to receive the council's financial risk register. So you've got a copy of that in your packs, where you can see the risks associated with the council. Is this a statutory requirement? Terry, sorry, do we, is this something we have to do?
We have to complete it every year, and it also forms part of our audit requirements and completion of the annual, what we call the AGAR, which is the annual governance and audit return that we have to send to Audit Wales.
Okay, I can just see 3 items of risk, high risk. And which is staffing, insufficient level of staffing need, poor service, staffing structure and use of temporaries, food hygiene breach. I mean, obviously these are, sorry, that's a medium. Cafe operates at a financial loss, internal business modelling, pricing for place, lack of clarity on roles between MCC, MCA and CSF.
These will be, as we work through them throughout the year, they'll be regraded as work's completed on them, so they will go down throughout the year as the work is undertaken on them.
Yeah, great. So obviously the reason for doing the risk register is to see those risks, and then we deal with them accordingly. It sounds like you're making steps to move those down the risk register. That's correct, yeah?
Yep.
Okay, super. Does anyone have any questions on the financial risk register?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like explain a little technical thing. The very first one, the impact is scored as 3 and the likelihood is 3, but then it's got a rating of 6. It should be 9. So that should take it to high risk, or is it like one of those?
What do you mean? 3 had 3 and 6?
So you multiply that.
Right.
So 3 it should be a rating of 9, which would be high risk. It's 3 and 3.
Yeah, and number 3 is numbered wrong as well. That should be. No, that's right.
Yeah, 3 is right.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Harry, did you just?
I did, yeah, and this is just the draft format, and I'm very glad to see that you have been reading it to see if there are any issues in there that needed to be highlighted. So if you're happy for me to amend that one, we can amend that and approve it then.
Yeah,
I'll double check it again before we publish it though.
Little Easter egg that you left there to keep us on our toes. Yeah. Okay, yeah, thanks for that. So there's no questions.
I just want to make a brief comment. I think we do need to be aware that the fact that something is high risk is not, it doesn't reflect badly on the community council. You know, in any risk register, you will have high risk because, you know, we have to be aware that there are things which are of significant risk to the organisation. The important bit is the mitigating factors. So I don't think we need to worry about the fact that we have, in fact, I would be very surprised, and I think any auditor would be surprised if there was nothing that we considered to be a high risk. So I think we do need to think about that and not just say, oh, we want to have everything low risk, because that's never going to happen. So, you know, it's as long as we've got in that, you know, section that's for further actions to reduce risk, that we have actually got systems in place that will ensure that if that happens, we can deal with it. But I don't think we should be thinking, oh, we've got to get rid of everything that's high risk.
Yeah. Okay, understood. Okay, so is that for vote or to receive? Sorry, Carrie, can't hear you.
Approve and vote, please, with the amendment that Laura's highlighted.
Okay, yeah, so with the amendment to be amended, all those in favour of receiving the risk register? Thank you, that's passed. Okay, number 13, to receive and approve the council annual report, which is in your packs. Obviously, it's some very good stuff we're doing, and it's communicating that and also putting our budget in sort of terms that people can understand in the back as well. So if there's no questions, oh, sorry, Helen, yes, question?
Is this the final version?
This is the draft version. So ideally what I would like to do is if there's any amendments that need to be made, it's agreed that they're made and it's approved within the meeting this evening, because we need to get it signed off before the 31st of March for it to be included in with the audit work.
I was just going to suggest moving around some sections, like for instance, like the grant stuff being at the very front. There were some sections I didn't feel flowed, and I was just going to say I don't think we should put any of those fancy photos in. I think there should be our photos.
Not fancy photo.
That's fancy.
Ooh.
I just feel that when you look at it, like the grassroots stuff that I think is the core of our work, I don't feel it comes across. So I was just going to say, like all the photos that we put on social media, I think those should be the photos, the people photos of Mumbles. So that's my main. I add other comments, but I don't think it's important. When you look at it, you want it to feel like this is what we do.
So which section is it that you think that gets that over though? I mean, you can borrow it if you want.
Oh yeah, I've got on screen, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just.
It's too polished.
I'll bring Helen. I'll bring Carrie in just while you're looking at that, and you can have a think. Okay, Carrie, do you want to come in?
Yeah, I've gone through it and there are a few typos and things that need to be addressed. What I was going to suggest, if Kerry's happy with it, I can go through it tomorrow. You know, it's not like I'm asking for anything to be changed. It's just omissions or typos that I've picked up, and I'm happy to go through it and send those over to Kerry in the morning if everyone's happy with that, rather than me going through them line by line now.
Okay, I mean, I think all the typos would be very welcomely received. I'm sure Kerry would be happy with that. Laura, do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, this might be one thing you've already spotted, Carrie, but I've just noticed I'm down as Oystermouth Ward and Tim is. But we're underneath Males, but it says Oystermouth Ward under our names. So, but that might be one of the things you've spotted.
Space.
So I've got random space in my name, yeah.
Yes. Yes, and the random space, yes, I've noted that as well.
Yeah, mine's a
And the
hyphen.
fact that Xanthi is missing, of course, and she needs to be. Even if we don't have a photo, she at least needs to be there.
We can find.
Kerry, I'm sure I could be writing notes here. Angela's name's slightly wrong as well on there. If we could edit
Oh,
that.
yes, it is.
So.
Yeah, so as I say, I'm happy to send those through to Kerry tomorrow if that would be helpful. Because there's just again one or two typos and things in the text that I've picked up.
Helen, could you email me the flow of how you think it would work better, please, so I can include that in the final amendments, if that's okay?
Same as the one.
Just going to shut the door. There's a bit of a row going on.
I want next best case. With everything you've got going on, massive well done for even producing an annual report. I think, you know, it's brilliant that you've been able to pull everything together. In terms of flow, I would say just remove the grant section and put that under the budgety bit, because I think it starts off very high level and then goes kind of straight into grants, which I think's weird. So move the grants to there. Cheers forward, councillors, and sort of, you know, overview, I'd say highlights, because it just feels like you've got three overviews. You've got your overview, then Will's overview, then you've got another overview. So I would just call that highlights or something. And I would replace all of those photos with people photos of stuff we've done. And that's my suggestions.
Okay, thank you.
Like, all the banner photos, I mean, they look lovely. I mean, keep the one of Underhill on the front because that's what a big part of our project this year. But I think, you know, on like the newsletter we had done recently, there's a bunch of photos in there which I think are real stuff that we've done as a council. Oh yeah, yeah. So I just think make it feel a bit more like our work, not a tourist brochure. But it's very professionally and beautifully designed, whoever did that.
Excellent. Okay, so with those things in mind, I think if we could all email Kerry tomorrow, maybe if you have any, if you spot any errors or anything. Is that all right, Kerry, if we get people to send things over tomorrow? But in principle, I think apart from a couple of little changes, the report is good to be approved, in my opinion. So all those in favour of accepting that report? Thank you very much. Okay. Moving on to consider and approve the mission statement. Kerry, do you want to come in on this?
Yeah. So this is come about off the back of the consultation, and in one of the previous councils there were 6 councillors that were agreed to be part of a working group. I haven't unfortunately had the time to be able to get together with the working group, so pulled the consultation last week and toyed about with some vision and mission statements, and then come down to 3, which I emailed out to the group and asked them to let me know which ones that they would prefer. Out of the 6, there's been 4 votes. I know I've wrote 3 in there, but I stand corrected. It's 4. So there was 1 vote for number 1, 2 votes for number 2, and 1 vote for number 3. So what we need to agree this evening is what's going to be the vision and mission statement for this evening, please.
Okay. So not sure how to how to vote on this. I guess we just take each 1, 2 and 3. So if people want to just get an opportunity, has everyone got them in front of them? So they can, yeah, does everyone see them? And Carrie, you got them, yeah? Online, yeah. So I suppose if you just choose one in your mind and then we vote on all 3 of them and then get a flavour. Okay, so option number 1, which is the vision, a greener, more connected and inclusive Mumbles, where people of all ages can thrive and feel proud of their community. And then the mission for that, to collaborate with the community to deliver sustainable improvements, support local groups, enhance well-being, and provide transparent value for money services. I'll read them all out actually, then we'll go back to the vote, just in case people haven't had a chance. Option 2, the vision, a vibrant, inclusive and environmentally rich Mumbles where community spirit thrives and local voices shape. The mission, to listen, engage and act, investing into our spaces, supporting our people, celebrating our heritage and building a resilient future for generations to come. And option number 3, vision, a vibrant, connected and welcoming Mumbles where people, places and community life thrive. And then the mission, to strengthen our community by investing in inclusive spaces, supporting local initiatives, enhancing well-being and environment, and ensuring our decisions reflect the voices of residents. So I'll take a vote, I suppose, on 1, then 2, then 3, and whoever gets the most votes, I suppose, will be our vision and mission. So option number 1, all those in favour? Just me on that one. So number 1 vote for that one. Option number 2. 1, 2, 3. And option number 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that correct? Sorry, can you all show for option number 3 again? Yeah, you option number 3. For 3, yeah. Okay, so option number 3 has the 4 votes. Option number 2, 3 votes, and option number 1, 1 vote. So
I'm currently abstaining, Chair.
Okay. Sorry? Well, let's not go into that. It's up
Yeah,
to
exactly.
He doesn't need to. You don't need to justify. It's fine. You can vote how you like. That's no problem. So, Kerry, do I then have to do a vote to accept option 3, or does that vote we just took qualify?
The vote you just took qualified because I had the majority of the vote, so it's option 3.
Okay, option 3 it is. There we are. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, you can say something, Helen. You carry on.
Okay, the reason why I didn't like option 3 was because it didn't really reference the environment at all, and that was the top finding of the survey. So I thought that was like wrong.
It does.
Yes,
It should.
underneath the mission.
Well-being
not
and the
in vision.
environment.
Yeah, but not in the vision.
Will people
Which is what people are gonna
places, community life thrive?
I mean,
Well, places
So
thrive.
that's why I didn't like that one.
Okay. I mean, democratic decision there. Can always change the
Yeah.
next one.
I did agree with Helen that it doesn't reflect the key findings of the community consultation, and I would have been happy with 1 or 2, but I just felt that 3 really didn't fulfill the brief.
Okay. Thanks. Right, mission statement item 15, to receive and approve the internal audit recommendations progress. Kerry, can I pass over to you to take us through the internal audit? You're on mute. Still on mute.
I just saw I was on mute as I was halfway through.
Yeah.
Right, so this tracker has previously been presented to one of the earlier finance meetings in the year, and we're just bringing it back to council to show the progress of the work that has been undertaken so far. There are some actions that still need to be completed on the tracker, and we're hopeful that we'll have those completed by the time we go to internal audit, which is the 22nd of May, I think. 21st or 22nd. And then obviously that will feed into the internal audit we have. So it's really just a note and exercise and approving the work that's been done.
Okay, questions from any councillors on that? If not, all those in favour? Thanks, that's carried. Okay. To receive and approve an update on Underhill. I don't have anything in my agenda pack, so was that meant to be a verbal update?
I was hopeful that we would have received something in writing from Swansea City Council after their cabinet meeting on Thursday, but I haven't received anything yet. We have had a reply from the head of Democratic Services that advised me that the approvals contained within the cabinet report were the recommendations contained in the cabinet report were approved, but I haven't had sight of the cabinet report, which the reply was then Councillor Thomas was at the meeting, so he would be able to provide a verbal update.
Yeah, I was at the meeting, but it was in the closed session, so I'm not sure if I'm allowed to discuss it until it's been released to the public. Do you know? Have you had any?
Okay, so I queried whether it was the agreement of the operation of Underhill being ran until August 27, end of August 27 by Mumbles Community Council, and if there was a funding package attached to that and what the amount was. The response I had was that yes, it was the agreement for us to run Underhill until August 27 with a funding package, but I've had no confirmation on what the funding package is.
Yeah, as people know, I was there in my capacity as a county councillor, so not as my capacity as Mumbles Community Council. So I can't discuss until it's made public the funding package, but as Kerry said, it's very positive, and Cabinet have supported the Community Council further. I suppose I can't really. I don't want to get myself on anything. Yeah, but it's good news. Good news. So it's fantastic, really. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. But I don't think there's any questions from anyone anyway. But good news. Okay. Thanks. Right. Moving on to item 17. To approve planning permission for running track around the Hill Park. Now, I'm sorry about the. I did send this for Kerry to put on the agenda, and I'm sorry for the way it's worded because it sounds like it's a lot further down the line than it actually is. It's just an idea at this stage.
It's an idea, I think.
So the idea. One of the things as county councillors, myself, Angela, and Francesca get a lot is that people don't feel comfortable walking up the Newton Road. Towards Slade Road and that way in Newton, because the pavement's so narrow and the hedges are out to the road, even though we tried to address that. So that was one of the things where, one small issue. Another is obviously creating a running track around Underhill would create footfall. It would help, everyone keep fit, and people would come down just to do a safe lap of the park. Whereas I've heard from a lot of people who don't feel safe running, especially in the dark in the winter. So maybe that would be, somewhere where
It's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, feel more happy to do that. So it's just an idea at this stage. There's no plans, no funding, no anything. What I just suggest is that we obviously wouldn't be you guys might have a slightly different opinion, but we don't want to obviously. We're putting loads of work on our officers, but as and when they have time, for example, Hannah, who's premises manager, could look into something like this. And I don't know what you think, Kerry, but maybe get some quotes around it, see if there's any grants around, and then it would need SUD's approval because it would be over. Well, depending on the surface, doesn't necessarily have to be tarmac, could be stone, whatever. Possibly need planning permission. We need to seek advice from the council. There's a long way to go, but basically it's just starting off that, giving the officers the okay to operate on council's behalf as one of the things. Carrie, do you want to come in?
Yeah, where on earth are you going to fit a running track? I mean, if you were part of the working group, we spent weeks, months trying to juggle around to fit in what's already there. I mean, what are you planning to do? Run it through the middle of a rugby pitch? in the football pitch. I mean, there is no other space. The space is full.
When I say running track, I basically mean a path about 1.2, 1.8 meters wide. I don't mean a running track as in, I just mean a circular path inside the park. I don't mean like a running track, which you've probably envisaged in your mind. So
well, yes,
basically,
a running track is a running track.
Okay, so a path, let's reword it then. Path down the side of the hedge. It doesn't sound quite as glamorous, but there we are. That's what it would be. So yeah, literally.
It sounds more realistic and practical.
It does. Bill.
I take it from what you're talking about. It's basically connecting up pathways to form a circuit for the average jogger, walker, or in my case wobbler, to manage their way around. In order to get some exercise in a safer environment away from the road.
Yeah, exactly. And it's I think it'd be nice for circular walks in the winter, and obviously watching the football from the path. You could do that in the winter as well, like we spoke about before, Helen. So yeah, it's basically just understanding there's no budget for this at all, and that would be something that we'd have to see how much it costs and maybe chat about it for next year or 5 years. Whoever knows. Who knows? Angela.
No, I think it's great for parents to be able to get their steps in whilst watching their kids.
I've seen loads of people.
Because actually you can move at least around. You're still there.
Yeah.
Because that's often the only time that parents would also still have to exercise. So yeah.
Yeah.
I was imagining some sort of red, proper track all the way around, and I kind of thought that was a nice idea.
Yeah, it is. I think it's just realistic money would be. I think it'd be a lot of money. I think all line. Yeah. Well, I think if we just had a path running down the hedge, I think that would serve the purpose we wanted to. I think. Sorry, Ian.
Without stating the obvious, there's a particularly high water table there, and the substrata. It's just a sponge. Newton Road adjacent with Underhill. They've recently done some repair work to the drainage, so it'll be interesting to see the next abundance of rain that we have, whether it'll gravitate into Underhill again.
I think that's one of the reasons Welsh Government brought in this SUDS application for anything over 100 square metres of hard surface. So if we were to suggest that we were going to put tarmac down, we'd have to do a SUDS application, and a professional would then tell us how and if it's even possible. So I'm pretty sure that would be cleared but we're not even suggesting that it's necessarily tarmac at this stage. But let's just have a look into it, I guess, and support. Anyone else got any other questions or comments? If not, so I think Kerry, if we want to take this forward, I suppose if we're voting on it, it's just as a sort of loose council ambition, is it? Something that we could, ask officers to pick up as and when they've got time with that. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. So as spoken about those, there.
I might suggest that, in this initial stage, whilst it might need a little bit of officer oversight, actually perhaps approaching some of the, interested parties and seeing whether a little working group could come forward for it to sort of further it along. I'm thinking perhaps, any running clubs or, similar.
I think at this stage, before we know if we have to have planning permission for it and then SUDS approval, I think at that stage where we know it's something we actually can do, then maybe we could pick it up at that.
Well, I will just say that, the skate park would never have been built if we hadn't had the interest and will of a community behind us at that time. And actually, it didn't take much. It just took a couple of quick meetings to find out whether there was an interest and a feeling. And once you find passionate local members, they're willing to put time and energy into seeing these things
come to be.
Well, we can certainly ask the officers to pick that up, and we could make suggestions of who to contact as well. I think that's probably a good idea.
That Phil's mentioned the skate park. The audit report was scathing about the skate park. It really
It's not how
was.
I read it, Ian, at all.
I don't.
How I read it.
Can we try and stay focused on if it's related?
Yeah, it was critical on the way in which it was. It didn't go out far enough to certain areas. The procurement, there's lots of mistakes, and coming to the point that if we're going to do something similar like a running track, I think you've really got to. It has to be put together correctly.
Well, I will agree with Ian, because certainly if we were to look at a running track as a separate project, we probably need to consider other places around the community as well. Having said that, we learned a lot from the experience of the skate park. Ian is right, but actually one of the things that the audit found is that as we went, we put advice into action, revisited our steps, and learned as we went along. So I think I would characterise the results as being interesting, because it's actually reflected our progress. And from that progress, we now know that larger projects like this and Underhill, Underhill and the skate park project are achievable for us when we have the backing of the community.
Okay, I think if we rename this a path, it might be slightly easier as well, because I think a path down the hedgerow, I think, rather than running track, I think as Carrie mentioned, I think it might be misleading to members of the public. So if we could, in the minutes, just cite that it was noted that a running track would be a path used for running. Sorry?
Around the perimeter.
Yeah, creating a circular route around Underhill. Yeah. So that would be good. And I think if as we're moving forward with this, we will definitely want to liaise with some community groups, and we'll build that into what the officers do with it. But all those in favour of bringing this as a aspiration of council. Good.
Yes,
okay. Any abstentions? And any against? Okay, one against. Okay, thank you. Okay, right. Item 18, to approve plan and permission to make Underhill Tier 2 FAW compliant Welsh League football, allowing Mumbles Rangers first and second term teams to return home to Underhill. Give a very brief bit of background. Well, I won't actually. If you allow me, I'll probably go into a little bit of detail just for the notes here. When MCA were building in charge of the development down Underhill, Mumbles Rangers approached them and asked for Tier 3, Tier 2 status for Welsh League football at Underhill. MCA met with them and then decided not to fulfil that ambition for reasons that they didn't anyway. I'll leave it there. Yeah, good. So what would that entail? So anyone can Google Welsh League Tier 2 status. Tier 3 and Tier 2 are very similar. Tier 1, which is the Welsh Premier League, is a different kettle of fish, and I don't think that's anything that probably could be achieved at Underhill, because that's like 1,000-seat stadium and all sorts of stuff. But Tier 2 is 250 seats, and Tier 3 is 100 seats. So what that would, and 50% of the pitch needs to be hard standing. Or there needs to be hard standing around 50% of the pitch, one width and one length. So at the moment, obviously, again, there's no funding for something like this, but again, it's an aspiration that we want to, well, I personally would like us to move towards, is to get Mumbles Rangers first team back down the park. And who knows, maybe Newton Athletic Ladies might be in the top flight of Welsh football by then. which you'd have to declare an interest then maybe. So what would that entail? It would the fence along the far side. When I say the far side, not the side that faces the majority of the park, the other side, that would have to be moved back about 3 meters the full length, and about 10 meters in the middle section to allow a stand to be put in the park. The idea would just be to get planning permission for a stand for 250 seats. I don't think we'd need to put 250 seats in. If you Google 250 seats as well, it's a lot smaller than most people think. Then along the other end of the goal, which is the hub end, we think that because that's tarmac already, we would just maybe need to remove the fence in the middle so that there's an uninterrupted viewing area, so that people can see into the pitch from there, and that would be the hard standing element for the back. So it has to be hard standing, so it would have to require tarmac and down the far end along the length. And there's a few other small criteria things, but those are the two main things. Now, a local architect has very kindly agreed to do these plans for free to get it Tier 2 compliant, which obviously would, if he can do them and does them, will be brought back to council to look at. But the requirement for the application would need SUDS approval. So there would need to be some allocation towards a SUDS application. And there would be the requirement for a planning application as well, which would be, well, how much was our last planning application, Kerry, do you remember, for the pavilion? I think it
was about 332, I think.
332, okay. And we put £1,000 aside for that, didn't we? I think so. We got £660-ish available in that regard. So that's the aspiration, that's the ambition, and also like when parents are watching their children in the Underhill, you have to look through a fence when you watch a Mumbles Rangers or Mumbles Rugby rather first team play. They have to look through a fence, and you literally can't see the ball if it's in the corner. So it should have been done at the start. Should have been done when the whole thing was built. Would have been cheaper. We are where we are. Let's try and get Mumbles Rangers back down the park. Over to you, Carrie.
Yeah, I'm totally in favour of getting them back here. As you know, we've had this conversation before. My only query is, they already have planning permission for a stand.
That's for.
What's happened to that?
So that's for the grass area. The planning permission they've got is for the grass area. MCA put a cricket wicket in the middle of the park, which is very, very close. So I'm not sure if it would fit. Even if it did, the stand on the grass would have to be near the water tanks for the 3G pitch, which will also put where the stand is. So it would require a lot more investment to put the stand there, because you'd have to do some pretty serious rafting foundations of steel rafting. So it's a much more complicated project to put the first team on the grass. I think that's where they prefer to be, but I think
So where are we looking at now? Sorry, we're talking now about actually on the all-weather pitch.
That's right, yeah. And there's another thing which the football club have had confirmation from the rugby club that they're happy to do this. So I'm not just speaking.
Okay.
But the lines on the pitch would also need changing, and the football club have had an estimate of £10,000 for that, which obviously they're just sitting on until if all this is possible. And because those lines would, require to be moved, and the posts for the rugby would have to be temporary posts instead of full-time posts, and they'd have to be put up and put down. But rugby played 3 games on there last year, and they don't use posts for practice, so that's not an issue, So it's something
I know we had lengthy conversations with both the clubs at the time, who were both completely supportive of Mumbles Rangers being able to play on that pitch. So yeah, I mean that was my only query, that why are we applying for more? So presumably, can we not kind of use the drawings we've got, just move it to somewhere else?
The local architect that I talked about was the one that did them for
Okay.
MC. So that's, he basically has all that.
Yeah, so he'll basically just repurpose it. Yeah.
Yeah, he's done a lot. So yeah, he's doing that for no cost currently.
Right. Good.
So that's great. So yeah, the SUDS application is the only thing I'm a little bit confused about.
Yes.
I obviously have no idea how much that would cost, and whether we put some money aside or whether we come back, or whether, you know, whether we just reach out and come back to council at a later date and just have this as a sort of aspiration for now, or
and we can't approve anything that we haven't got any actual costs for, but what we can approve is that we are supporting Mumbles Rangers moving forward to be in a position to, you know, move back up once they've got a full outline of all the costs, and presumably they will be helping to fund this as well.
Yeah, hopefully. Phil.
Yeah, I was just having a very quick look. I mean, the minimum size of the stand is for 250 covered seats.
Yeah.
However, the tier 2 says that obviously the idea is that there's capacity for at least 750 people. And obviously that would also have to be taken into consideration when looking around the pitch as to whether or not there is capacity for another 750 people beyond the stand of 250.
That's what the hard stand is for.
Yeah.
That's what the recommendations for.
Yeah.
Ange, did you have a question on this?
No, it's okay.
Yeah. So I think if we move to a vote on council adopting as policy that we want to reconfigure the 3G pitch at Underhill to tier 2 Welsh League compliance to get Mumbles Rangers first team and indeed their reserves back to the park. And we can come back with costs for everything at a later date, I guess, for planning and SUDS, but if the officers have the approval to pick that up and go forward. So, yeah, is that, Kerry, does that seem like a recommendation? Yeah, she's nodding. Okay, so all those in favour of that, please. Okay, that's unanimous. Thanks very much. Okay. Item 19. Right, this item 19, to approve the environment, the chair's allowance, to create a new budget line for civic regalia and agree the purchase of new chains. So, as you know, as a chair and vice chair and head of committees at the council, you get a allowance of a pay, I suppose you call it. I don't know what you call it. And I really don't like the the chair's chain. It's not good enough for Mumbles Community Council. However, I appreciate that it's not popular to spend council money on a new chain, which is probably why it's never happened, because it is just a badge, right? It's a badge. It's not a chain. It's a ribbon. Right now, I am not suggesting that before you're laughing, right? I'm not suggesting that while I am chair, I will not wear this. So it will be given to the next chair, right? Just before you all think I'm buying myself a new. So the concept, I will not wear this new chain. So hopefully that covers that off the list. And secondly, I'm agreeing that, I'm assuming I will pay for this chain. So whoever is the next chair will get
the luxury brand new chain.
Luxury, well, not luxury. It's not going to be. It's a huge. So basically,
chair one is far superior.
Yes.
The 30 one is far superior.
Yeah, security force to walk around there.
So basically, just to just to confirm, I'll bring you in a minute, Carrie. Just to confirm,
Okay.
in the allowance that the pay rather that I get for being chair would be used to buy this, or some of it would be used to buy this chain, and I, while I'm chair of the council, will not benefit from this chain. Okay, so if everyone's understanding that, Carrie.
Yeah, just querying, presumably that's, the environment is just for this year,
Yes.
so that it's your choice. And I don't have a problem at all with you using it to buy yourself a chain and to wear it, because it's your allowance, you can do what you like with it. So, you know, I would not be querying that you won't benefit from it. You know, as a chair, you've got a new chain, wear it.
Thanks. I think I'm just worried about public perception would be rather than that. But yeah,
I'm going to suggest a public chaining of the chair.
Oh, it's just out of the chair's £1,000.
Well, the chair of the council gets more than that.
£1,000. It's out of that.
It's out of the.
So that's what.
Yeah, so you know,
I agree. It's pretty pants the chair's one compared to the vice chairs.
It is, and it's something that you know, after my days in council, I can just say that I've given something back to the council community. So that's what I want.
No.
Anyone else, Helen?
Why can't we just swap the chains?
Because it says vice chair.
What does it?
Yeah.
A little bit, is it?
It's engraved in the this one. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So all those in favour of that? Thank you.
I abstain just in case.
Okay. And one abstention. To approve delegated powers of the Chief's Officer on the 26th of March 2026 to the 8th of May 2026 in the pre-election period. Kerry, can I bring you in just to talk on this, please, the reasons?
Yeah, so we enter into pre-election period, and what this means is that officers have to remain politically neutral. So decisions that are made by council can be challenged for their legality of being politically neutral during that period. It also means that social media cannot be used to promote any councillor that is standing for election, and there's lots of different rules around what we can do and we can't do. So for the best way for me to protect the staff and to not face any legal challenges on any decisions that are made by council, I'd like to obviously not have any meetings during the pre-election period.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why we're going into Purdah when these elections are for the Assembly. We're not up for election as a council. I know two of our members are standing for the Assembly, but the council itself isn't going into a pre-election period, and we've still got a majority of councillors who aren't involved in elections themselves. So why are we going into Purdah ourselves?
The pre-election period is the new term for it, which is the acceptable term to be used. It's pre-election period for the council because the majority of the councillors on our council belong to one political party. We've got one political party member who is standing for Senedd. So any decisions that are made by council could be legally challenged as being politically motivated.
I'm not saying what you're saying is rubbish. I just think the logic behind it is rubbish.
Okay, so when you say delegated powers, that means all delegated financial decisions up to what figure?
If you look on the board behind Phil's head, there's a list of delegated powers that we've got already, that just detail that's even got the budget and spending authority in those, which we agree annually every year at the annual meeting. So this is just for any decisions that need to be made, like you've had on the agenda this evening. But I don't anticipate there will be that many because I will do anything I can hold off until the next council meeting. I will push back, but in the event of a decision does need to be made, then we do need to have delegated powers in place.
13th of May, then needs to be the next meeting.
Right, any questions on that at all? Okay, yeah, so all those in favour? And any abstentions? One abstention, okay. Thanks, guys, that brings the meeting to a close. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you after the Welsh Government elections then.
Thank you.
We will all be.
Who want these back? No.